We have new developments tonight at 6 in our ongoing investigation of a story that's led to protests at City Hall, as you can see in this video from last night, and calls for the Johnson City Police Chief to be suspended.
It all started with a federal lawsuit filed 2 weeks ago against the city of Johnson City and Police Chief Carl Turner, including serious allegations. The department refused to investigate reports of serial rape tied to one suspect, named only at this time by the pseudonym Robert Vaux.
Now, Ashley Sharp's been on this story since she first broke the story about this lawsuit and found out it's quite possible this fugitive was recently in the Johnson City area. Ashley?
Well, Josh and Sarah, that's right. We're learning more about the timeline that this fugitive, Robert Vaux, has been on the run. We were able to place him here in the region through exclusive reporting you'll only find tonight on WJHL. Proving that Vaux was in the region as recently as a few months ago, working to transfer deeds for properties that he owns in downtown Johnson City. We interviewed women who work at the County Register of Deeds office about how a tense encounter with Vaux in April, before knowing he was a wanted man, led to them calling police.
A fugitive seemingly hiding in plain sight after a federal lawsuit alleges Johnson City Police tried and failed to serve a federal arrest warrant on the so-called Robert Vaux at his downtown apartment on May 5th of 2021. Vaux is a pseudonym used in the lawsuit, claiming the man whose identity is still under federal seal is the suspect behind multiple alleged rapes of women, a suspect the lawsuit alleges JCPD refused to properly investigate. However, nearly a year after the attempted arrest on April 19th of this year, the Washington County Register of Deeds office got a heated call from who they say was the real Robert Vaux.
He, at that point, was still angry, said he was on his way down there and hung up the phone on me.
A police report shows the man was upset concerning the deed to a property he owned. Vaux came into the office demanding they not record the transfer of a deed for a property in downtown Johnson City. The women in the office informed him of protocol that they must record the deed, which they say made him extremely upset, leading to him causing a scene.
He just got mad and he stood up and he kind of lunged towards us, and then he walked out the door. And as soon as he left, I said we need to call the police.
The police report reads, it was later determined the suspect has a federal warrant from the U.S. Marshals Service for weapons violations.
The Jonesboro policeman, when he came back, he said that he does have warrants out for his arrest, and that if he comes back or anybody affiliated with him, to call 911.
But he didn't go into any detail at that point as to what the warrant was for or anything, but that we just needed to be cautious.
This led the Register of Deeds, Teresa Bowman, to ask more questions around town, finding out what she feared.
He was not a very good person. He was a bad guy. My feeling was that I needed to protect my employees. We needed security here.
After additional security stood by at the courthouse for a few days, Vaux never returned, though Bowman says he did make phone calls and send someone on his behalf to deal with the records. Upon seeing reports on News Channel 11 of the so-called suspect and fugitive Robert Vaux, the women knew immediately who he was and that the fugitive was the man they encountered just a couple of months ago in April.
I was just grateful that, the news was out there and maybe he'll be caught.
Well, I hope they catch him. I hope they catch him.
Johnson City Police and U.S. Marshals continue their search for the man believed to be Robert Vaux. They urge anyone with information on his current whereabouts to come forward. And again, we have not revealed the identity of Robert Vaux at this time. His arrest warrant and indictment are under federal seal. Once it becomes legally appropriate to name him, we will do so.
Ashley, thanks, and you can read this full story on our website, WJHL.com. Our series of investigative reports looking into this lawsuit and Robert Vaux are on our website as well.